Thank you for joining us on CBA News Brief. My name is Wangui Ngugi. Waddani Party's Central Council Conference continues for the second day in Burao, the capital of Tuke region. The agenda included amendments to the bylaws of the party in a unanimous vote. It was read aloud by the Member of Parliament Hussein Ahmed Aidid. They include limiting the nomination for presidency to only 2 times. Another amendment limited the secretaries of the party to 21 instead of 69 and the membership of the Central Council to 371 members from the height of 671. Waddani Party, the youngest political party in the country, will thus become the first in Somaliland to limit the times a member can stand for a president. Another point of order was the approval of the party officials appointed since the last Central Council conference. The officials were the 3 deputy chairmen and the Secretary General Kadar Hussein Abdi. The party has also postponed the general convention of the party for a year starting from today. Senior military officials in Somalia have said that the Somalian National Army killed a senior Al-Shabaab commander in an operation in Lower Shabelle region in southwestern Somalia. Military officials said the Somalia forces killed Hassan Abshir Jibril in bombardment on Al-Shabaab base on the outskirts of Degle town. According to the officials, heavily armed Al-Shabaab fighters have been regrouping themselves outside of the town during the bombing. Somalia National News Agency SONA reported that 20 Al-Shabaab fighters, including their leader, were neutralized by the Somalia Army in coordination with AMISOM. The slain Jibril was said to be responsible for Al-Shabaab's several attacks on Janale and Barire towns of Lower Shabelle region. Al-Shabaab did not comment on the latest incident, which targeted its fighters. In other news, the Kenya National Police Service is urging the public to help find Mr. Abdi Wahid Khalif Abdi, alias Isse Tarabun, a Somalian national believed to have arrived in Kenya on September 24, 2019. The police has further asked members of the public with information about Mr. Abdi to call their toll-free lines 999, 911 and 112. Mr. Abdi Wahid Khalif Abdi, alias Isse Tarabun, was in 2017 arrested over terror claims in Mogadishu in an event presided over by the Cabinet Secretary for Interior. He was then reported to be in charge of Al-Shabaab operations in Mogadishu prior to his arrest. The circumstances under which he was released from prison are still unclear. According to a police report, he left Mogadishu via Salam Airline heading towards Nairobi. His whereabouts are still unknown amid claims that he could be on a bad mission. It is also not clear why the Somalia government did not alert Kenya on the travel plans of the suspect. Somalia has refused to sign the Intergovernmental Authority on Development Protocol on Transhumans, citing the protocol having some articles which needed to be addressed. The federal government of Somalia said it needs to be given time to make sure the protocol is discussed with its member states. The protocol was also opposed by Ethiopia due to some articles which they say do not favor them. The ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Abdulaziz Mohammed, said that for the case of Ethiopia and Somalia, there is a need to first consult with their regional governments because their system is a federal system. The consultations have been done on grassroots level, but they want to move it up to the regional governance so that the implementation of the protocol after the endorsement will be smooth. This was the reason as to why they did not sign the protocol, because they did not agree on some articles which were in the protocol. The two nations were therefore given 2 months to sort out themselves and come up with a final conclusion and answer by December. A photo of Somalia's President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmaajo with convicted torturer has attracted wide condemnation. President Farmaajo posed for the photo with Colonel Ahmed Yusuf Tuke, at the opening of Somalia's new embassy in Washington. The former head of Somalia's National Intelligence Service, Abdullahi Baloshe, said President Farmaajo has made his hostility and hatred for specific Somalia clans. Ahmed Mwalim Fiki, a member of the Federal Parliament and former head of National Spy Agency, in his part apologized to the people of Somaliland for the hurt that the photo caused. Colonel Yusuf Abdi Tuke was found guilty of torture and ordered damages to his victim from Somaliland's Gabile district in May 2019. Colonel Tuke was a commander of the 5th Brigade of Somalia's army, stationed in the then northwestern region during the vicious crackdown on the civilians of the area in the late 1980s. After the collapse of the central government in 1991, he fled to the United States, then entered Canada. However, due to reports in the Canadian media, he was forced to flee Canada and return to the United States. Some of the victims of his alleged atrocities have ever since tracked him in an attempt to sue him in the courts of the United States. Finally, in May 2019, after much delays, he was convicted of torture in a Virginian court and was ordered to compensate one of his victims, Ali Wafa. The first batch of African refugees and asylum seekers from Libya are now settled at transit centers in Rwanda. The 66 refugees from Sudan, Somalia and Eritrea arrived on a flight chartered by the United Nations Refugee Agency on Thursday. This was the first group of refugees to benefit from a so-called emergency transit mechanism agreed to earlier this month by Rwanda, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees and the African Union. Out of the 66 refugees flown to Rwanda, nearly 26 of them were unaccompanied children. The entire group has been granted asylum seeker status pending an assessment of their refugee claim by UNHCR. They have the same rights as other refugees in Rwanda, including access to education and healthcare and freedom of movement and to work. All evacuees will be invited to attend language and vocational training classes to help them integrate with local communities during their time in Rwanda. Further solutions will then be pursued for refugees, including resettlement for some. That's the end of CBN News in Brief. Join Abdullahi Hassan later tonight with more news.